Andres here, and welcome to another rapid fire video where I talk about bigger bands, bands with bigger discographies, iconic videos, or iconic albums, and albums that are nostalgic to me. And today we're talking about Judas Priest 1980 to 1990, and why I'm talking about that is because these are the albums and the years that were most influential to me. And so that means we're kicking it off with British Steel. I'm sure you guys know this album cover pretty good. You know, it's a classic album. It's got like, Breaking the Law and Living After Midnight classics. But I really like songs like, Rapid Fire. Grinder was a song that my band covered once at a show. But one song that I never really sort of fully appreciated was The Rage. This has this unsung sort of bass. Just a different type of pacing for the style for Judas Priest. The riff itself, I feel like, has some emotion. The verse and the chorus essentially blend right together. I sort of love that. This whole song is sort of just, it's a one sort of riff, one sort of pace, so it's really unique and an interesting style, template for a song. So check out The Rage would be a good one. Here, if this guy would hold that for a second. Now on to Point of Entry. This album, I enjoyed the classics right off the bat. Heading Out to the Highway, Hot Rocking, Desert Plains. But the song that really sort of grew on me later in the years was Solar Angels. I was so captivated with the very hypnotic intro right off the bat. The simple riff, but it's a sweet groove. It's very mellow. It's an awesome song to drive to or just relax to. I really enjoy the pacing. The solo is really simple and calming. It sort of has that nice calming effect. It's sort of, again, another bit of a rare sort of track or direction for Judas Priest, but that one is definitely probably my favorite song off of here, as well as Desert Plains. Then we move on to this album here. I got this shirt, Screaming for Vengeance. Classics again on this album, but the title track, Screaming for Vengeance, is such a tight, quick song. Every facet I love on this track. I love Rob Halford's uses of his vocal range, and the harmonizing and the solo is brilliant. I love that. That really it's so memorable. And then you have a song like Fever. This one is really sort of out of left field a little bit too. Sets a rare atmosphere. I love how it harnesses sort of a visual, lonely stroll on a rainy night in a dark city, where like even though it's brightly lit, you still feel like you're all alone. And once again, that Ian Hill bass is just so groovy. I really like that in Fever. Next album is Defenders of the Faith. Now this one is one that sort of just entranced me by the level of guitar playing on the first 4 tracks. You got Free Will Burning, Jawbreaker, Rock Hard, Ride Free, The Sentinel. These songs, the melodies, the harmonizing, the technical speed and precision. I just love all that. The guitar tones are awesome. It inspired me so much to be playing guitar and really learn all the different techniques, the picking techniques, the subtleties, just how to boost riffs here and there. I love those first 4 songs. They just absolutely make Defenders of Faith, as well as Night Comes Down. To me, this is one of those rare sort of more emotional tracks. Not ballad, but more emotional. I think it's one of Rob Halford's best performances for conveying emotion and passion. So, of course, all that stuff will be linked for you below. On to an album I think is underrated. This one is I know it's a bit of a funky direction, Turbo, but I really enjoy the synth that is added here, like Turbo Lover, just supersonic aura, the gradual build upon that. It slowly keeps building until this exciting and potent synth guitar riffs kick in. You get this awesome chorus, super exciting. And then you get these cool dudes in their awesome fancy jackets too. It's like, I know people have different opinions on Turbo than me, but I really like how Judas Priest's ability to innovate and then write capably in that style as well, and still have hooks and still sort of have classic Judas Priest. Like Out in the Cold isn't really their style, but it really shows their capability to write outside their typical realm. And to me, I think that's spectacular writing capabilities and being able to compose like that. And just Out in the Cold is one of those ones with a fantastic atmosphere, and it's its own entity that stands alone. The next album, Ram It Down, this album's a beast. I love the sound of the snare, just huge. And the title track, Ram It Down, is an absolute tidal wave of thunderous energy. Rob Halford is like a banshee. The guitars are on high octane assault and such a mighty, majestic, fiery blitz of a solo. This thing, I don't care what people say about solos. Sometimes they're just fun to listen to. Wild adventure, and this one is something out of, you know, like a banshee or something screaming out of hell. It's awesome. Blood Red Skies is another one. This one is another direction for Judas Priest that has a bit of a different atmosphere, sort of curious, lurking feel to it at the beginning. And then you get a lot of intricacies, guitar intricacies as it builds. The rhythm and drums really sort of keep a nice pace to it, nice running pace. And one of Rob Halford's best performances for all the different emotions and ranges he can showcases in this track. Just again, this song really builds, and it's one of those ones that stands alone and really shows some grand writing capabilities of how much Judas Priest can vary in sound and what they're capable of. And you hear that on the next album too, Painkiller. Totally different, violent sound right off the bat. I admire their evolution and what they grow and add, and what Scott Travis added on drums when they brought him in. His intensity is so evident right off the bat with Painkiller. The title track there, quite possibly the best drum intro I've ever come across. Such a ferocious song with Rob Halford tearing in and savage electrifying guitars and the most ear-piercing solos. I love what Glenn Tipton does in the solos. Painkiller, maybe I'll put that as my must listen to. I'll put Painkiller as my must listen to. Fucking beastly track, I love it. Nightcrawler, again, is another one of those rare sort of Judas Priest directions. I love the sinister undertone. I really attribute that to the despair in the lead and the rhythms throughout. Rob Halford's vocals are amplified and echoed and add so much dimension, especially to the chilling sort of interlude that goes on there. Again, the capabilities of what they do. I've said that a lot in this video. And A Touch of Evil is another one where Judas Priest shows their ability to this song has truly its own entity with this new sort of haunting atmosphere, new devious emotion, and the lyrics really fall into place so seamlessly throughout this. And one of Rob Halford's most notable vocal moments he has in this track as well. I really love the two vocal tracks of his going at once, sort of all amalgamating to this wicked part. So, you know, if you're a new fan getting into metal, you're 16 or something, you want to check out where to start, Judas Priest. I'll have the songs down in the description below. Or if you've never really, you know, you've heard of them and you're not really sure, that's what Rapid Fire is about. Me tackling some of the bigger bands, Megadeth. Maybe I'll do some Anthrax one day, who knows. Judas Priest. If you have any bands you think I should tackle, maybe you have a nostalgic album that means a lot to you. I've been challenged, or a friend, YouTube friend, mentioned And Justice for All, Metallica. I haven't heard this album in 20 years, so I wonder if I can dissect that now. Now that would be an interesting. What do you think about that? And I have some cool stuff coming up in October. Psst. It's something evil, and this guy ain't gonna like it behind the camera, so don't tell him. He can't hear well, just like he can't see well. Anyways, I got something cool coming up for October. I hope you'll join me on my very first premiere on Devil's Night, October 30th. You ain't gonna like it, but too bad. Until next time, folks, happy listening.